Welcome to the Clean Truth, where we like to call bullshit on the status quo. What's up? Welcome to Clean Truth. I'm Don. You're spitting gum out. What are you going to do with that?
She's that person.
You're like a 5-year-old.
Well, I thought you'd probably yell at me because I was going to smack in the microphone. So just getting ahead of the argument.
Smart.
You crack me up. Our sponsors, unofficially, unofficially, Rain Energy, Monster Energy. Listen, these bougie-ass Alani drinks,
Yeah, your samples.
they're good. I'm
like
secure enough with my manhood. I don't give a shit. I'll walk around the office with these all day. I'll put my pinky out.
It's definitely basic bitch Don with one of those.
They look like a seltzer. They're pretty good.
Little spike seltzer. Not spiked, but look like a spike seltzer.
Dig it. Brett, thank you for giving us all the free caffeine. I appreciate it. This week's ball busting. Can you explain the 18 gallons of Coke Zero that's in your office?
Oh,
You never did explain it last week.
I did. I put on social media.
You did. You put a story up there, but you didn't tell everybody why you had literally 80 bottles of Coke Zero in your office.
So I don't even know who even started. Was it you?
You made a comment the other day in the office. It was late. It was like 4 o'clock. So you needed a little caffeine boost. And you went to your secret stash of Coke Zeros. And you're like, son of a bitch, there's only one left. Is Bryn drinking all these?
No, so it was a box, empty box in the cooler. There wasn't even a Coke Zero in there.
Right.
And I was like, so some asshole left the box emptied in there. And I had seen Bryn walking around with a Coke Zero. So I'm like, it's Bryn. And Bryn always he does the meal plan photos and that kind of stuff. So he runs to the store, once, twice a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, someone needs to tell Bryn to contribute to the
my
stash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Ben told Bryn this because Bryn came out.
I was like, hey, bro. I was like, you got to contribute if you're stealing out of the cookie jar. You got to add cookies back into the cookie jar. So
then I walk into the next morning, which was kind of funny because I had brought in 2 Coke Zeros from the house. I drank one and there was one left. But then when I came back the next day, it was gone again. And so then I walk into a trail. I think it was the next day. I walked into a trail of Coke Zeros, from the door all the way to my office. And then obviously he bought me every 2 liters minis, bottles, cans.
That was the best part is he bought you the whole variety that they come in.
But I didn't know if Bryn was mad about it because I walked in there and he kind of made a sarcastic comment. And I was like, is he mad? Is he just playing with me? But he's like, I thought you'd find it funny. And I was like,
Well, that's good stuff.
Here's your Coke Zero.
yeah. And then he tells me I'm not going to touch him. And then the next day afternoon I see him walking around with my mini in his hands. So
This week's Clean Truth, it's a pretty good one. I saved it from one of the previous weeks. What are your thoughts on carbs / carb cycling, low carb, high carb?
Why are you looking at me?
Because I purposely picked this one for you.
So I think
the reason that I picked this one, let me explain, was your boy Mike Feeder had a conversation with him this morning. He's like, Ben is the carb Nazi. He hates carbs. I'm like, first mistake you made.
Yes, I already know that.
First mistake you made was going to Ben Fleming for nutrition advice. Ben is like a carb Nazi.
I hear you.
Little dig.
Jab.
All in fun. But no, I mean, I know you know what you're talking about, so I'm just busting your balls. But I don't want to go down a big, deep, dark hole here, but my thoughts on carbs are, if they're used correctly in the right times, carbs are not your enemy.
Good point.
There's a lot of people that can eat really high carb diets, and timing is everything when it comes to those things. So I'm not going to sit here and throw stones in a glass house. I'm a carb junkie, and I could walk by a bowl of spaghetti and gain 5 pounds. So,
yep.
But
we talked about it before, and I just think it's one simple way for maybe somebody to change a diet around a little bit. And so the carb cycling idea is just eat different amounts of carbohydrates on a day-to-day basis, if you count them or not. eat chips on one day, but then don't eat chips the next day. No matter what you do at lunch, just don't eat the chips. And you're going to have a different amount of your daily intake of carbohydrates. So, I think that's just keep it simple, stupid. That's been one keep it simple, stupid approach for me to give somebody a new diet tip.
If they're stalled or something
Correct.
like that. Yeah. Or want to try something different. So
No, I agree. I think it's an easy first step, like you said. It's just hey, if you're stuck, man, try this.
Yep.
Like, just cut your carbs out or go or
If
drop
you don't
them.
have to
eat the
eliminate them.
yeah, if you got to eat the cheese pizza on Friday night with the fam, then Saturday morning, how about some steak and eggs?
Yeah.
Simple
No,
as
I
that.
agree.
yeah.
I know one of the things that works for me, if I'm consistent enough, but I never am, so I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, is carb cycling. Like, I know that works very, very well for me. So if I was consistent enough with it,
Yep.
why I don't do that, I don't know. I mean, I'm just an asshole with my diet, but
Yep.
I know that works. So carb cycling is a very, very good thing. The topic of the day is the old Boy Scout motto: "Be prepared."
Yeah.
I should leave now.
You got two Boy Scouts right here, Yvonne.
Why do I want to talk about this? I've been really good about like current events happening, and it's very easy for me to come in here and just blah, 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 diarrhea of the mouth and spew my opinion. But I've gotten really good at, okay, how can I take this event and kind of put a spin on it and create value and create something that we can use to help somebody with.
For sure.
Everybody knows that we had the toilet paper crisis last year, and now we have the gasoline crisis of 2021.
Yeah, it was pretty wild coming into work. They had like caution taped around the full, so nobody even like drove up to the tanks anymore or to the pumps.
I think the thing that upsets me when this stuff happens is it bad? Yes. But it's everybody freaking out about it is what makes it such a bad and big deal, or such a big problem. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
Would we have a major gas shortage? No. But now we're going to, because everybody freaks out. And the reason they're doing that is they're unprepared. So that's the topic of today. It's
Yep.
how to be prepared for things like this ahead of time, even though you don't need them. I'm looking at you right now because you're going to be the asshole that's going to argue with every point that I have. If you do, you're kicked off.
I said I should leave before the topic got
Somebody still hasn't gotten gas. She's like, I'm good. I got a half a tank.
I have a bike. If I run out, I have a bike. I'll eat carbs that day.
So, yeah.
Dun, dun.
Uncle Ben's rice packets. I'll just heat them up all day. She's going to be the poster child of every example that I give. She's going to be the one that does it. So,
Yvonne was probably also the person that didn't do the homework until like 7 a.m. like at breakfast. Like, oh crap, that homework's due. Let me get it done.
Yeah, I feel like I can make very valid decisions closer to the time.
Yep.
but are they the best decisions?
Yeah, because I've pondered it for like 2 weeks.
Just because she hasn't got it completed doesn't mean she hasn't pondered.
So Harrison, who's our procurement guy, was just in there like about the kitchen because he wants like the rest of the year done, and I'm like, whoa, like let's just get August, like I'm like that's all I got in my head right now. I was like I kind of got the rest, but like, and then he starts writing stuff down. And it makes me have anxiety because I don't want to be committed yet.
He wants them set in stone. I love it.
Go ahead.
No, I just think that, an easy way to alleviate things like this happening is us as a society and a culture. We're always unprepared. That's number one. And then you've heard guys online, get your house in order. I've said it 1,000,000 times. Other guys online have said it 1,000 times. What they mean by that is exactly what we're going to talk about. Get your house in order means be prepared. You got to be prepared for things like this. And no matter what anybody wants to sit here and ridicule anybody or say, by having some of the things that I'm going to go through and talk about, you're not a conspiracy theorist. It's just being smart. First question I would have into anybody is, do you and your family know how to protect yourself? Like if the world went to shit and we lost all gasoline, we lost power, we lost communication, would you and your family know what to do?
I do.
I don't have to because I have you.
Good
But I'm
point.
prepared.
But Don is your contingency plan.
That's why I don't worry about it.
So now that leaves me. We're going to get into the guts of this conversation.
Yep.
I put together a survival list.
Oh God.
Oh, cool. She says, "Oh God," I say,
Yeah,
Awesome.
because her survival list is her cell phone and her cheetah printed computer.
which is also outdated. Which you've been telling her we'll go down a rabbit hole real quick. Which you've been telling her she needs to get a new computer. So what happens if your computer just goes to shit tomorrow?
Well, I asked it for Mother's Day and I didn't get it. So
You got it. You just got
TOB.
it. You got it. You got it indirectly. You didn't actually. I didn't purchase it for you. I said, "Yeah, you know which computer you want.
Go get it.
Go buy it."
I just don't like to press buy on the button. It gives me anxiety.
That's the best part. What are you talking about?
I have tabs on my thing right now, like with things in my cart, and I ponder over it for about 2 weeks.
But the
I don't like
ultimate
to spend
bomb is
money.
that computer going to shit and all those tabs being non-existent anymore.
Yeah, well, there really isn't nothing important. So everything important's on my notepad. So
She cracks me up with this shit. Like, she'll debate on whether or not to buy a computer for like 2 weeks. She'll buy a $7,000 end table tomorrow in 2 seconds. Split decision. Like, looks great, matches my bed, matches the floors. I'm in, and buy it.
Priorities.
Very true. Yvonne's
I just don't like to
interior
buy
decorating
things
habits.
that just benefit me only. So like that whatever I just bought for $7,000 is going to benefit you and everyone who comes over. So I feel like it's
Just
validated.
stop.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this. My survival list. First question, do you have a plan? You know what I mean? It's a very real possibility. You know, we rely on technology. We rely on electricity, gasoline, all this stuff. What happens if all that goes away? You have nothing. You have no way to communicate. You have family 4 states away. Do you guys have a place that you plan on trying to get your whole family together and meet? Or is it a, nope, fuck off, see you later. Nice knowing you, Ma. We'll chat later.
And we just experienced that not too long ago with hurricanes, so it's very real.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be just end of the world kind of things.
It is. I mean, I'll use, us as an example. I don't think we've ever sat down and talked about like, hey, what happens if we lose the internet and we lose all communication? Are we making our way to Frank and Rita's and posting up shop at the farm?
See,
Never made a
the
plan
word
like this.
what if. Like you could what if your entire life. So I don't play that.
It's a hypothetical.
I know. It's just
This is what I'm talking about. If you're going to fucking argue.
But you can also, but I said, like, so I know you weren't too happy with your contingency plan last year when it was, or 2 years ago with the hurricane. I mean, it worked, but it wasn't comfy, to say the least.
correct. So I will not do that again. I
So
will
what's the
like,
next contingency plan for the hurricane?
further up.
Oh, yeah, dude. I can tell you right now,
plan.
we get hit with a hurricane or the news says, hey, Southeast North Carolina,
You're
you're
going
getting hit with a hurricane.
So you're going north.
I'm on the next airplane to St. Louis, and I ain't coming back until the power comes back on.
Yeah.
All right.
For real, I'm not joking. I'm going as far west as possible. Cat 1 doesn't matter. I'm out.
Like it.
A way to communicate. If we don't have power and you don't have cell service, you're going to need to learn how to use a radio. And I can guarantee you, if you ask 9 out of 10 people right now on the street, do you know how to communicate without a cell phone? They're going to tell you no. They don't know how to do that.
Agreed. But not everybody has a radio.
They
But
don't.
to your point, I do have one of those crank up manual powered radios to find out about the news. I might not be able to communicate out, but I can at least find out.
So I'm going to communicate by knocking on your door.
You're gonna ride your bike over to my house.
See?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a plan.
No, but it's very true.
Number 3 is what we're dealing with right now. This whole problem could be very easily solved. Keep 10 to 15 gallons of fuel somewhere and keep it on hand in gas cans. If everybody had 2 5-gallon gas cans, you know what I mean? I put a story up there yesterday on Instagram that said, you're an asshole if you drive around all the time with your tank on 1/8 of a tank. or like on a 16th of a tank with your gas light on all
Yeah.
the fucking time. That's dumb. It's stupid. There should be no reason for that.
Then why do they put the miles on the car? Like you have 16 miles left.
I told you, she is going to be the one that does every one of these. That's kind of how I came up with some of them, to be honest with you.
I feel like it gets the water
You
out of
guys
the
are
tank.
chumps. You're not even going to say.
Don's gonna be the guy. You guys remember that house, the zombie apocalypse house that was in Poland, the one that like turns into a fortress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be Don's house,
Dude, I would love it.
and Yvonne would be chilling in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, trying to figure out what's going on.
Pretty much.
I'm going to take. Never mind.
I would love for like there to be this like secret thing under the ground. I can just push a button and walls come up around my house and just surround my house. Nobody can get in or out. That would be awesome. All right, next thing on my list is cash. You should always have a little bit of cash on hand.
I do have this. I have squirrel funds everywhere.
Yes.
That is true.
I don't know if I should say this publicly out loud, but heaven forbid something ever happened to me and Yvonne. Search our house.
Search every coat pocket.
Yeah, but
Pull the
Yvonne-
books off the shelves, shake them, look through socks,
That's the point.
go to her closet and look in every jacket pocket.
The little dust tray in
You
the
will
dryer.
probably have a small nest egg when you're done.
Vaughn might not know where all of her squirrel fund money is.
She doesn't. That's
She
my
just gets-
point.
She just gets excited folding laundry, and then it just
pops out.
gets pushed somewhere.
It's been a while since I found a little secret stash, but I used to find them all the time. Most of the time they were in the car. Like when her and I first, started out in business,
Yep.
I would get in the car, be waiting on her to get in the car. Still 10 years later, I still do that. But I'd be like looking in the console, like just getting bored waiting on her. This was before you had Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
I'd find like $600 in the console.
From the deposit from the restaurant.
Deposit from the night before. She'd get in the car. I'm like, what's this?
Tuesday.
That's the deposit from 2 days ago. Son of a bitch. Anyway.
At least she doesn't bury it like somebody else we know.
Yeah, my mother.
Next thing is first aid kits and with a tourniquet in it. This is, I think, is one of the most underrated things. I have a big first aid kit that is in my truck. Never leaves my truck.
Yep.
You didn't even know it was in there.
I have a first aid kit, but then we just went to an event a few months ago where we learned so much more than I've ever known about tourniquets and everything like that, and the benefits. So it was pretty awesome. And now I have a tourniquet.
I have a shoestring.
You own one? You bought one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I haven't got one yet. I need
Yep.
to put that on my list. I do not have a tourniquet, but I do have a monster first aid kit. What?
Do you know where the Band-Aids are in your house?
We don't have any.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
They're in the
No
ca-
shot. I can't imagine he has a Band-Aid in his house.
Where are they?
You're here strictly for entertainment.
I'm telling you, I searched for a Band-Aid the other day and we did not have any.
They're in the cabinet in the
It's on my
kitchen.
Target list. We don't have any. Apparently they're in his truck in the first aid kit.
I know there's some in there. Next thing, guns and ammo. You better have a way to protect yourself. If it ain't guns, you better have a cool little ninja sword or some nunchucks or something. Learn how to use them.
We got a sword.
You have educated me in that in the last 2 years, and I think even educated further on if you see ammo, buy it, even if you don't think that you need it.
Yep.
Because one thing that's not doing is going down in price.
For sure. The only thing I would add to that is learn how to use them. I think that's I won't go down a rabbit hole on this, but, the big thing now is first-time gun owners are going out and they're buying these guns and they're starting to carry without getting a CCP license or without being trained on how to do it. Biggest thing you are right there is you're a walking holster for somebody.
Right.
If you don't know how to use it and you don't know how to protect yourself with it, it can be taken away from you in 10 seconds and used against you. Next thing, I think would go to the top of my list. especially in hurricanes, it always goes to the top of my list. Foods. Snacky spoos.
You put water in that mix too?
I mean, I'm just including it.
Yeah.
Who needs water? You need sneaky snacks. Like jerky.
Agreed. Canned foods, which you don't usually eat.
I don't have any comment.
Do you, I think, like, to that point, too, though, I think a lot of people raid the shelves, like you were saying, with, like, the toilet paper and the water, similar to the gas right now. But I think people sometimes don't, like, stop and think and say, like, why don't I just fill a bathtub? Or, you know what I mean? Why don't I just fill the 25 glasses in my pantry with water and stick them on the counter in case that hurricane, like, people run and buy bottles and bottles and bottles of water. Then no hurricane comes and it's
So I did that.
bottles and bottles of water.
Florence. I filled all of our bathtubs up in case we had to boil water for
Yeah.
a while. I was like prepared for doomsday for Florence because that was our first hurricane
Yeah.
that I knew we were going to experience landfall with. So I remember
Keep it
some
keep
guy
it
telling
simple.
me like, "Hey, fill up your bathtubs." I'm like, "Done, nothing." But generator. Some of this stuff I don't have. I don't own a generator, but I need to go get one.
Backup batteries to that point.
We have batteries galore.
Yep.
Not a no comment from you.
Is she a battery hoarder?
No, man. We'll
it's
just keep it PG
It's
13.
over my head. Never mind. Didn't.
And on that note,
I wasn't picking up the eye contact between the two of you.
I just saw the shit-eating grin that she gave me. And she's like, "Yeah, we got plenty of batteries, buddy."
Never mind.
Yep. Toiletries. You know, you touched on it. Toilet paper, toothpaste. I mean, what happens if you...
How far do you
Don't-
let your toilet paper in the house get down?
I'm good with that. Like I usually, it's like 1 roll, 2 roll.
She lives with me, and I can use a roll a day, so we're always pretty stocked up.
Nice.
We like during the toilet paper shortage, we were good. So
It got pretty hairy there for a little while. I was like, am I going to have to wipe my butt with napkins?
you were fine.
Hand and feet warmers.
We're in North Carolina, dude.
Yeah, but what happens if you got to leave?
Oh my gosh.
I'm talking about the little
Stress
bitty
me
ones.
out.
You know, the little things you tear open.
I got them.
Of course you do.
What happens if you're in your car, you get in a wreck, and you're stranded somewhere forever, and it's cold outside? Keep them in your glove box. They're like 30 cents. Throw them in there. If you're stuck in there, just stick them in your shoes, put them in your hands.
Do you carry backup clothes in your car?
You mean my workout bag?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does, but 9 times out of 10, they're dirty.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. At least
It's
it's
a
backup.
disaster. You're gonna be something, right?
I'm usually good for a hoodie or a jacket in the fall and winter. There's always one of those in my truck.
Yep.
Sometimes multiple because they're dirty.
In Illinois, I always did that. I always had like a spare, like in case like we did break down, like you had hat, glove, scarf, extra coat or something.
Yep.
But here, I'm like,
So here at the beach, I carry a backup pair of sandals.
In your car?
Flip flops in my car. Yeah, because we live at the beach. Sure. Someone might say like,
well, if you have to run,
take the sandals off.
I don't have any.
But I've always done that since like being in the beach town.
I don't have any sandals, but what I do have is 36 hats.
You do. But that's like got to be your daily life living at the beach, where you burnt head all the time.
No, I mean in my truck.
That's what I'm saying.
Like right now, if you went out and got my back seat, there's 36 hats back there. I just haven't figured out what to do with them.
I don't have
But you're
any comment.
prepared, to say the least.
Thank God we don't have a bald head running around. Like,
Are you bringing anything to this podcast today?
no, you're actually giving me anxiety. I'm like,
For
starting to
what?
Sweat.
That's my presence. Next thing, you probably shouldn't keep this in your car. I mean, unless you live in northern Alaska, but a sleeping bag. Like, does your household have a sleeping bag?
no.
You have a pillow and blanket.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not created equal. Noah, do you have a sleeping bag? Attaboy.
Are all the Holiday Inns closed at this point? Some of these things, I just need a situation. Like, you have to give me a scenario to make these things work because I don't understand this. But
I'm trying to get you to think that if the country blacked out tomorrow, you don't have power, you don't have cell service, no internet, no nothing, no gasoline, done. You're talking Mad Max Thunderdome situation.
No amount of pillows and blankets could equal the warmth and ability that a sleeping bag could accomplish.
but we're still in North Carolina.
Are we talking like
I mean-
house blows up too? Because I could just go lay in bed still, right? Or no?
I don't think you guys are. I mean, we're sitting here, we're making jokes, and we're talking about this lighthearted, and that's cool. It's fun, and it's fine. But I think the point of it is that if you guys are proving it, is that nobody, you go through your daily life and you don't think about, okay, well, what if that shit happens? Now, should you? Not all the time. I mean, this is the greatest country in the world. You shouldn't always have to sit there and stress and worry about it. But it should cross your mind like, hey, man, what if this shit does happen? It's a very good possibility that it could happen. Then what are you going to do?
Obviously, I'm not going to make it. So,
Not without me, you ain't.
yeah. Unless you want me to go to Target after the show. So,
I mean, I could
Get the
sit here and
list.
use a couple of examples about just how stupid people can be. Like right now, I keep seeing shit on the internet. People are putting gasoline in grocery bags,
Yep.
shopping bags, or filling up like plastic totes like we have back here in the office. I'm going to tell you right now, if I pull up to a gas station and I see you putting gasoline in a trash can or in a plastic tote, I'm probably going to throw something at you. I'm just saying. Like, I'm probably going to grab a water bottle and hit you with it just for being that person.
I don't even understand why that's a thing. Like, what are you going to do after you fill it in a trash bag?
That's my question.
All right.
But it's proving my point. Like, people are, they're that naive. Like, they don't think.
Then they panic.
And they panic. Last thing on my list is medication and pain relievers. I mean, every house has 18 bottles of Tylenol, so most first aid kits come with them now. But
Yep.
keep an extra bottle around and have it readily available to grab and take with you.
Alcohol for cuts and scrapes
Mhm.
and things like that.
Vaughn was saying something totally different there.
Now she's ready to contribute.
She's like, oh yes, Ben. Alcohol is a fantastic.
She's like, here we go.
Are we
Survival.
talking about
Survival dude.
scotch, bourbon, vodka?
Oh gosh. Like you said, she's not bringing anything to the table today.
She lit up. She lit up
It's all
when you said that.
comedic
though.
humor.
My advice is find the man who's going to do all of it for you and then shack up. I'm covered. I'm good. Let's just hope when the world does go down that we're together. Because if you have to come find me, like,
All right, scenario. What happens if all this does happen? Something happens to me in the first week. Then what are you going to do?
well, if you don't survive, I definitely am not. So, like,
Did you guys watch Walking Dead?
yes. Yeah.
That's
It
why.
it
That's why
frustrates
sword.
you?
Sword is the move. 100%. You gotta have a sword.
Or no crossbow?
I pick sword over crossbow. Yeah.
But then you'd have to have the arrows.
Unlimited swings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse. I want a sword. 100%.
I could see that.
Especially because
Ammo's heavy. So you can only carry so much of it and move so
And
much
you
of
run
it at one
out.
time.
And you
Sword.
run out. Yeah. Sword.
is
Unlimited
infinity.
swings. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm coming over to your house.
We got swords.
Is your sword sharp?
Very.
He has no sleeping bag. He's got one sword, no toilet paper.
But when we all start, surviving, we got tribes. You're gonna come to me because I have a sword. So you're like, we want that guy. So then we barter. I have the sword. You guys have the sleeping bags. We figure it out.
But we don't have power. See?
You have water to boil.
Where, I guess, did someone get like a propane stove?
I can't keep going with a straight face. Or this is going to
Make
turn
a
into
fire,
one.
Yvonne.
Oh, fire. Okay,
Do you know how to
gotcha.
start a fire? if you didn't have a lighter
That's
or
exactly-
a fire pit. Sorry, let me elaborate. Could you start a fire with just a box of matches?
Oh yeah.
You could go into the backyard, find enough things, and
Yeah.
start a fire.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Okay, that's
What if
good.
you didn't have the matches?
You want me to have a flint thing on me too? I guess it'd be in
Well,
the,
those are natural
the-
things you can find.
Steel
in the-
wool.
Yeah.
You can find them.
So
Possibly. You're gonna say possibly on that one?
possibly yes.
Okay.
All right. We can wrap it up there. I think this was pretty funny. I just wanted to have a good time with it. But prove the point that 9 out of 10 people are unprepared for situations like this. So we can sit here and joke around.
1 out of 3. Well, you're halfway, so I guess yeah.
We can joke and make jokes about it all day long, but point being is start thinking about this shit, man. Don't walk through your life every day thinking that you have a cell phone and you have the world at your balls. It's not always going to be the case all the time.
Yeah. Then you won't complain about it when stuff like this does happen.
Correct.
It's a big thing.
And don't put gasoline in trash cans. Grocery bags.
I'm gonna go to Target now.
Till next time.